Hello beautiful people. If you're new here, my name is Shisom Anidebe, and if you're not new, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. I'm super grateful. As the name of today's video implies, we'll be talking about everything, every detail that went down in my second trimester of pregnancy. So let's get right into the video. So as at my 16th week of pregnancy, which was the beginning of my second trimester, nothing new started. I was basically just still experiencing some of the things I was experiencing in my first trimester. So as at my 17th week of pregnancy, we went out one day. That's me and my husband. We went out one day and we came back. We were about to bathe and I saw blood stains on my pants, and that's not something anybody would be expecting whilst pregnant. You wouldn't be expecting to bleed or even see blood. It's not a good thing to happen while you're pregnant. So I was really scared because blood, pregnancy. I was really scared. I was so scared that I had to call my mom, and she said, it's time for you to settle your issue with the hospital. I have issues with hospital. I am not an hospital person, but as at this point, I cannot risk anything. So whatever issue I have with hospital, I've got to settle it. Okay, I have to be the bigger person here and settle whatever problem or whatever feud I have with going to hospital. But at this point, I had no other option because I really needed to see a doctor for checkup and all those stuff. I was really scared that day. I was so scared. So we said, okay, me and my husband, that before the end of my 17th week, we're going to figure out which day would go for the checkup. So at the end of my 17th week, I saw the blood stains again, and this time it was worse than the first time. Now I had no option. Like, I was crying on this day because the blood was much. It was more than the first one. I was crying because so many things were going on in my head. So many what ifs. What if this? What if that? So many what ifs was just running through my mind. I was so restless. I can't imagine how I'll be having blood stains while I was pregnant. I was trying to figure out what I'd have eaten, what I might have done. I was just so restless. I was crying the hell out because I was scared. And that day was on a Saturday, so we said the next day being a Sunday, we didn't even care. We just went straight to the hospital. Basically, we came out from the church. We went to the hospital. We got to the hospital. The first thing I did after registration and everything was run a pregnancy test because I was just thinking about so many things. What if I lost my baby? What if? So I ran a pregnancy test again just to be sure and be on the safe side. So it came out positive. That was the time I could at least even breathe. Now that time my body calmed down, like, okay, I'm still pregnant. Then probably something else is wrong or something. As at this point that we are right now, with the bleeding situation, I shouldn't carry anything heavy. I should avoid going close to heat because I was so scared. I was so scared of the result coming out. What if they said it's negative? What if they said you're not pregnant? Oh my god, I was so scared. So when the result came out, I was so happy, like, okay, probably this is not what I'm thinking. So that result just gave me some sense of relief. It just told me, okay, you need to calm down, Shisom. And after running some other tests and all, but that was my first time registering, so they had to run some tests also. So after that, I went to the doctor and it was like, okay, that everything is fine, I should calm down, that's nothing serious, it's just due to stress, and I should avoid anything that's going to make me stress, that I should move out of the streets that stress is living. So as at that point, I had to relocate. I had to move out because stress, I don't have to live in the same street with stress anymore. Stress has to leave or I leave. So the doctor was like, you need to stop anything that's going to make you stress yourself. Whatever stress it is, whether it's the smallest amount of stress, just avoid it. And I should avoid carrying anything heavy. If I'm hooking the steam from the pot. I shouldn't like allow it in any way come in contact with my belly. Like I should avoid the steam coming in contact like directly to my belly. So just like I should calm down and everything is fine. They gave me drugs to take that's going to stop the bleeding. This was on a Sunday at the end of my 17th week of pregnancy. It's my 18th week of pregnancy on a Monday. After I took the drugs, I was fine. Then on a Tuesday, I started bleeding again. And I was like, what's going on? I thought doctor said the medicine is meant to stop the bleeding. Or did I forget my dosage? Because I don't like taking medicine. If you know you are like me, that hates medicine, I prefer injection to medicine. So if you know you're like me and you hate taking medicine, please let me know in the comment section. I'm not a medicine fan, but as at this point I had to drop my hatred and feud for medicine. I took my medicine strictly according to how I was supposed to take it. So I was just, what happened? Why is this bleeding starting again? So I was like, okay, the next day is a Wednesday, and Wednesday is the days for antenatal in the hospital. So I decided not to panic too much since I already did a test and I was like, I'm still pregnant. So I didn't panic too much as at this point when the bleeding started again on that Tuesday in my 18th week of pregnancy. I didn't panic too much because, okay, tomorrow is Wednesday. What's the stress? What am I stressing myself out for? So the Wednesday, we went to the hospital for the antenatal classes, checkup and everything. Class was over. On my turn to see the doctor. And doctor was like, okay, you need to go for the scan first. Then after the scan, then we can discuss anything the scan says or anything you're feeling, whatever issues you have to tell me, we'll discuss after the scan. And me too, I was excited. This is my first time doing a scan and I wanted to even see the size of my baby. So I was so excited to like go do the scan. I was so excited. So we went in for the scan. I was told to lie down, take my top up, and they rub this jelly on your belly. And okay, they started rolling the monitor around your belly. Is it monitor? I don't know what's called. I want something like that to check and everything. And whilst the guy was doing this thing, I was looking at the screen. It was black. But me, I've not done this scan before, so I was thinking maybe because my pregnancy is not yet that advanced, maybe that's why I'm not seeing anything in the screen. But I said after the scan, when it's done, let me not disturb him. When it's done, I'm going to ask him why the screen was black, because the ones I see on TV, it's not, even though it's black, still, but mine was not even showing anything at all. So when it was done, the guy was just silent. It wasn't funny. His facial expression has changed as at this point, and there was another lady in the room. So there were two people in the room, a male and a female. So we were just looking at the female assistant with him. They were looking at themselves and looking at me, looking at the monitor. They're just silent, and me, I was like, okay, maybe let them finish what they're doing, because I wanted to ask. I was so eager to ask questions and just asking why the screen was black whilst they was doing the scan. So when they were done looking at themselves, I think they were waiting for who was going to bolden up, if there's any English like that, to tell me what the scan says, because I was so eager to just hear what they say and collect my result and go. So they were talking so they looked up themselves and they spoke in their dialects, Yoruba dialects. Lady Yikolo, you more, meaning this girl is no longer pregnant. They didn't know I understand Yoruba a little bit. So I was just like, which lady? Is it me? It can't be me, because I did test on Sunday and I'm here on Wednesday and you're telling me this girl is no longer pregnant. It can't be me. No, you need to check that statement very well, because it cannot be me you're talking to. This was the main reason why I had to do that test again, just so they won't tell me all this news. They won't tell me all these things. That was why I did a pregnancy test again, not because I didn't know I was pregnant, but just to be sure and have some certain amount of, okay, I came here on Sunday and I did a test, so you can't be telling me this girl is no longer pregnant. So I'm just waiting for them to finish looking at themselves and speaking their Yoruba, because you cannot be talking to me at this point and telling me No, no, it can't be me you're talking to. So I just kept quiet and I was looking at them. So when they were done looking at themselves, the girl, I think the guy was just not in the right frame of mind, I would say, or should I say was feeling pity for me. He doesn't want to break the news to me rather. And the woman, the lady was like, okay, um were you bleeding before? I said, yes, I've been bleeding. I'm even bleeding right now that I'm here with you. I'm on pad. And she was like, okay, that have you had an abortion before? I was like, what kind of question is this one? What kind of question is this one asking me? I don't understand. I'm like, ma, this is my first pregnancy. I've never been pregnant before. So I don't understand all this question you're asking. She was like, okay, due to the bleeding you've been having, you have a case of accidental abortion. It was not entering my head. At this point, everything she was saying is as if she's talking, but my ear is not hearing it, because you can't be talking to me at this point. This point we are right now, it's not me you are talking to. You can't tell me the pregnancy test I did on Sunday was nonsense, or the person that did it did not see what he was doing or she was doing, whoever that did the test. Now you're telling me that one thing do one thing, baby gone, baby no gone. Like, it wasn't just resonating with my spirit at that point. I was, this is, are you playing? You can't be playing with me, because I just couldn't understand. I couldn't comprehend everything she was saying at that point. Because it cannot be me you are talking to. No, not me. Not me. Because I was not in that state of mind for that kind of news. Because I came into that scan room with so much joy that I'm going to see my baby, and you're just telling me, no, it can't be me. I was not. Everything she was saying it was entering and coming out from the other place. While the lady was saying all this thing, this story just popped up in my head. The story my mom told me, the story surrounding my birth, of how my mom said she bled from the first month till the 8th month while she was pregnant with me. That every time she goes for scan, they're always telling her there's nothing in your belly. Come and wash your belly. Her belly kept growing. As at when baby was meant to kick, she started feeling baby kicking. But she goes for scan. Doctors are like, there's nothing in your belly. Your belly is empty. We don't know why your belly is growing. It's empty. Come and wash your belly. But she said no, she can't wash her belly because she knows she's pregnant. Like, she stood her ground that she's going to carry her baby till 9 months. And here I am doing this video with you. So that story just popped up in my head at that point. I can't be like, no, history cannot repeat itself with me. It can't. So I just came down from the bed and went to meet the doctor. The doctor that I was expecting to maybe say something that would just say another one. So it was like, after checking my results and everything, it was like, he's so sorry for the news, but the only thing he can tell me right now is I should pick a date that I will come so I can wash my belly. I was like, sir, you see this girl you're seeing right here? She's not washing her belly. That's what I told the doctor. As at this point, I don't know where all this courage came from, but I just knew that I was not as shaken as I was when I did the scan attendant or scan people, whatever they are called, told me that I wasn't pregnant anymore. At this point, I was just, I don't know where the strength came from me to even answer the doctor, because when I was leaving that scan room, my eyes, everything, I was just feeling like my whole world was just spinning. I was not in the right frame of mind. But when I got to the doctor's office and started telling me, choose a date to come and wash your belly, I was like, sir, I'm not washing my belly. And you're like, okay, I won't force you. But the only thing I'm going to tell you is you have two options. If you decide not to wash your belly, the two options are, one, you might likely bleed till death. And he said the second option is, I might likely not have a baby again, meaning if I don't come to wash my belly, everything in my belly will spoil my womb and I might likely not give birth again in this life. So I should choose one inside the two options. I'm like, you did not even give me a good option to pick from. The two options you gave me are not even something somebody want to choose. I might likely not give birth again, or I might likely bleed till I die. Which one should I choose? There's no good option there. So I was like, sir, I'm not picking anyone, no, because none of them is good. But I'm still not going to wash my belly. So he said he's not going to force me. I should go discuss with my husband and come back. Left, I went to meet my husband. I showed him the result. About leaving the hospital, I think the doctor I met went to meet the main doctor, the owner of the hospital, and told him, I told this woman, no, see everything involved though. If she refused to wash her belly, oh, she said no. So the doctor called us, that's the main doctor now, called us and was like, okay, he's sorry for what happened, but the only thing he can tell us right now is should go to another hospital or go somewhere else and carry out another scan. Whatever the scan result says, we should come back and let him know that he's not going to decide yet till we bring another scan result. So we should go for a second opinion. That's what he said. That at that point, this was the only person that was saying something meaningful. Something that was even reasoning, like, I don't know how to put it. This was the only person saying something reasonable at this point. So like, okay, sir. So we left the hospital and went home. As that evening, yeah, around 11 p.m. that day, I started having this cramp-like pain, this period-like pain. I'm always someone that has had the worst type of menstrual cramps. My menstrual cramps are very, very bad. Like, I cannot bear them. But this one I was having was even worse than my menstrual cramp. Like, I couldn't bear the pain anymore. Menstrual cramps are sometimes I even have menstrual cramps and I will go to work. But even no matter how worse it is, but this one I can't even bear it. I can't even sit down. I can't even stand up. I was just restless. So I called my husband and I was like, I don't understand what's happening to my system because I don't even understand how I'm feeling anymore. Not too long after I told him that, I started bleeding again. This time, the bleeding was worse than the other bleedings I've been having. If there's any English, other bleedings I've been having altogether. And the funny thing about this bleeding was that I wasn't even bleeding the way normal people bleed. I was bleeding in lumps, like the blood was clotted. You know when probably you have an injury and probably before you could clean it or something and it dries together, you know how it will now form like clots together. That was how I was bleeding. I could not even sit down. The only place I could sit was the toilet. Sit in the toilet and I was pouring blood from my coochie. Like, you know when you're pouring, that was how I was pouring blood because the blood was not even dropping the way normal blood would drop out. Like, I would say it's abnormal bleeding because I've never heard of somebody bleeding like that before. You're bleeding and the blood is clotted together. Like, there are some that I would have to use my hand to drag out. It was that bad. Like, I was just in my head at that point when I started bleeding like that. I was just like, shit, this doctor do me. Because imagine going to the hospital and the doctor told you you might likely bleed to death if you don't wash your belly. And I come back home and I'm bleeding like this. At that point, I don't even know what to think. I don't even know. I was just crying and I called my mom. My mom was not even around. She traveled. I was just like, oh my gosh, it was an horrific experience for me. It was so traumatic because I don't understand how somebody with bleeding clotted. The blood was clotted together. This is not even something I could wear pad for. I cannot wear pad for this kind of bleeding because it's not even like it's coming out in liquid form. It's coming out in solid block, clotted together in lumps. I could only lie down, and even that lying down safe, it didn't solve anything because I was just rolling and tossing around, just rolling on the bed, rolling on the floor. If I want to sit down, I have to go and sit in the toilet. So it drops directly to the toilet. That was how I was bleeding from that 11 p.m. that night till 2 a.m. the next morning. Not like the bleeding stopped, but the pain started reducing as at 2 a.m. At around 3 a.m. the next morning, the bleeding was beginning to subside and it was no longer coming out in clotted form. It was now coming out the normal way somebody will bleed. as at this point I could now wear pad, not like I could just sit down toilet. So this was when I decided, okay, let me even try or attempt to sleep. Not like the pain reduced, but it was now a bearable pain. It was something I could bear. As at 4 a.m., that's when I slept off. I woke up the next morning. I was grateful for my life, because it's just like a temptation. After having that kind of bleeding, the next thing that should come to my head is to run to the hospital and be like, doctor, wash this belly. Whatever happens, happens. But I was like, no, I'm going to see this through to the end. The next morning, I woke up and I was I was still bleeding, but not feeling any more pains as at the next morning when I woke up. And I was just imagining, what if my husband was not around? Because he had even planned on travel. We've packed his bag. It was to leave on Friday of that week. I was just imagining my sister was to come over and stay with me. What if my sister was the one around? How am I going to communicate with my sister the kind of pain I was feeling? I can't even, my mom is not even around. I'll say, well, call my mom to come over. That I don't understand. My mom she traveled. Will I call my dad? And it'll be like the same thing that happened to his wife is happening to his daughter. And it's just going to be somehow like my dad is, I don't even know if my dad was going to be able to bear that kind of, like, imagining after what happened with your wife and your child ends up having the same similar experience. It's going to be so traumatic. And I was just grateful and thankful that my husband was around as when this was happening. Thinking that was just the only day I was going to bleed like that. I bled like that throughout my 18th week of pregnancy and my 19th week of pregnancy, as at the same time every day. That's his pain. The pain starts 11 p.m. at night, and by morning I'll be able to sleep. I don't sleep at night. I sleep in the morning. From my 18th week of pregnancy, that Wednesday, to my 19th week of pregnancy. As on my 20th week of pregnancy, I was grateful, because one Sunday like that, I just came back, and after church we came back. I decided to change my pad, and I realized there was no blood stains. I was shocked, but I was still like, my wait small face. If you say the blood will later come aside. So I waited till like evening, and the next morning nothing. That was how I just realized this bleeding had stopped. As at my 20th week, I was good, I was fine. Nothing new, nothing extra. I was just fine as at my 20th week of pregnancy. As at my 21st week of pregnancy, I started noticing that I can't make my hair at this point, because I was constantly having headache. That's why you'd be like, maybe if you see my videos and you see me tying scarf, the only hair I can make is to cover it. That's the only hair I can make. I cannot comb my hair, because my hair is this kind of strong textured type of hair, and me combing it or leaving it, well, if I should lose my hair and I don't end up plaiting it the next day or the next 3 days after, just know that hair I can't touch it, because it's going to be very strong. And if I could be able to comb it, I'll have to pour water, a lot of water on it. But right now, even with the water, it's painful, but I still try to comb my hair. I can't make my hair, because the kind of headaches I would have would be as if I want to die. Please, if you experience such, please let me know in the comment section, because I felt like my enemies were after me at this point. It's bad enough that I'm looking this beautiful. Let me not talk how beautiful I'm looking. Now, coupled with the fact that I can't even make my hair, it's not even funny. Like, touching my hair, combing my hair is a lot of work. As of my 21st week of pregnancy, this was what I started noticing. This continued 21st week, 22nd week, I was still experiencing that kind of headaches. Like, if anything should make me comb my hair, the kind of headache I'll be having, as if you should cut my head off and drop it, let me not feel it, because it's just unbearable. As at my 22nd week of pregnancy, I started noticing that I can't use my teeth anymore. Basically, I have toothaches now. This was bad, because no matter how soft I cook my meat, I'll still be bleeding whilst eating the meat. If I finish eating meat like this, the next thing you'll be seeing in my mouth is blood. Like, I don't know if mine is different, or if you experience something similar. Please let me know in the comment section, because my own felt as if my enemies were after me. There are times I'll be brushing and pouring out the paste or the foam rather out of my mouth, and I'm pouring it out. It's already mixed with blood because my teeth is bleeding. Like I cannot chew even bread. No matter this bread, yeah, bread is soft. I can't chew bread. I can't chew biscuits. I can't chew anything. There are times yeah, it will be swollen, so swollen that I'll be like, who did I offend at this point? I did my research, asked around, and like it was part of pregnancy signs, but it's not really that common. Not everybody experiences. So if you know you experienced this, let me know in the comment section, because I felt like my enemies were after me at this point. Because how can I not eat anything? Even okay, at first I thought okay, probably because my meat was strong. I tried boiling my meat to be very soft. Still, I still bleed while brushing or while it's after eating it. I'm still, let me just remove one that enter my teeth. Just know that I'm ready to go and rinse my mouth because blood was already everywhere. It was bad. So I experienced this from my 22nd week of pregnancy, 23rd week of pregnancy, 24th week of pregnancy. I was still experiencing this toothaches coupled with swollen feet. But swollen feet was not really often. It's just off and on. There are times I would wake up in the morning as I'm my 24th week of pregnancy, and I won't be able to move my legs because they were so heavy. Like I would have to relax first before I would come down from the bed, or even if I would even come down and I can't even move my legs or walk because they are so heavy, they are swollen. This was what I was experiencing for my 24th week of pregnancy and 25th week of pregnancy. As of my 26th week of pregnancy, I began to notice I was experiencing indigestion. I would eat and it looked as if all the food is just stopping here. The food will just hang here. I don't know, like the food does not go down. I don't understand why the food will not go down. Why are you not going down? And this was just weird because I had to browse what remedy I can use for indigestion in pregnancy, and they're like, okay, ginger and apple. Still, it didn't work for me. I don't know if you experienced something like that too, or if you had another, whatever else you experienced, let me know in the comment section because it was really bad. Like there are times I'll be hungry but I wouldn't want to eat because what's the essence of eating when the food will just stop here and any small thing, look as if the food wants to come out of my mouth. It was that serious. So most times I just end up drinking water. I now love drinking water. I drink water like my life depends on it. Before pregnancy, this Shisom you're seeing right here doesn't like drinking water at all. Water was my enemy, literally. I would prefer drinking any other type of liquid to drink water. There are times I would eat and I'll forget that I'll be like, should I drink water like this? Or it was really that bad. But I'm happy that pregnancy has changed that part of me, and I just pray it remains like this even after pregnancy, because it's really not nice for somebody to not like drinking water. So as I'm my 27th week of pregnancy, which is going to round up this video, if at this point you've not liked this video, please like, please leave me comments, subscribe, turn on your notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. As I'm my 27th week of pregnancy, change I would say I noticed as my 27th week of pregnancy was that I discharge a lot now. Like I'm the kind of person that's always free at home. When I'm at home, the only thing I might wear is just singlets and no undies. So it's now a big deal because when I started noticing that I discharge a lot, I have to start wearing undies so I don't stay my bedsheet and be changing bedsheet every time. It's not easy to be washing clothes. I cannot be sitting down washing clothes every time because of discharge. So at this point, I noticed that I discharge a lot now, and I'm also having this pigmentation, that's coloration of skin. Some parts of my body are now looking darker than some parts. My lower body is now looking black. They said it's going to change after pregnancy, hopefully. Yeah, so this was everything I experienced in my second trimester. If you know you're pregnant right now watching this video, or you were once pregnant and you are watching this video, please leave me comments in the comment section. What experience did you have? Were they the same as mine? Were they different from yours? Let me know in the comment section, and I will see you in my next video.